Uh,
So we got a
I'm
slide and a leech.
unmuting audio, by the way.
Okay.
okay. So yeah, we have our slide and we have our leech, and that's a particular party. So I am going to get things started. So this is going to be an adventure in Duskval, the city of dusk, where there is no sunlight and arcane beings and ghosts stalk the street. It is also known as the Haunted City. Um, we are going to move into Duskval's docks, the its connection to the rest of the world. It's where people are constantly coming in and out to fuel the industrial machine at the heart of the city. Um, there's a lot of labor to be exploited, many dock workers, and a lot of profit to be gained. Most of it through um, large leviathan hunting expeditions that supply the blood and electroplasm that powers the entire, not only Duskval, but much of the Shattered Isles. There has been a growing unrest among the dock workers. And it's as a result also in an increase of crime across the district and a proliferation of different gangs and groups vying for control of this one district. And things have become tense. We're going to move into a lone dock house, standing abandoned, the result of some failed Leviathan hunting expedition where we have a small group of people sitting around a dimly lit table. On one side, we have two s- smugglers, uh, Terry and Czar. And on the other, we have Chief Helker. He's one of the most influential. He's an old dock worker, and he's one of the more influential people in the district. He's older, probably a man in his 50s, but he's someone who used to be very strong, and you can still see that about him. He is someone who's worked most of his life doing manual labor. And he is flanked by bodyguards of a crew known as the Grinders, Scovelanders, mutated by the toxic rain of their land. What he is here to offer you a job. Probably something to do with the. You think it might have something to do with the Leviathan Hunters, but you're not sure.
Okay.
What? So what? Why are you so? So why? What are you doing at this table?
Just clarifying the setup here. We are is this the hideout space that we established last in the last session?
No, it's a neutral meeting ground.
Okay. Are we already Phantom Ferryman? Have we been doing that for a bit?
Yes, you are the Phantom Ferry.
Okay. All right. Okay. And he's offering us a job. And well, um let's see here. I do want to hear more about this job, so I wait for him to continue. I motion for him to please carry on.
I kind of want to know a little bit more about this setup. In a room by ourselves, nobody but the people you mentioned at a table, nothing on the table.
He has so Helker has brought some materials with him, which he's going to explain, but otherwise it's you're in this is a place that's mostly out of sight of Bluecoats. It's mostly you, Helker, and his grinder bodyguards.
Gotcha.
Um but yeah, so if you motion for him to continue, he simply says, "Look, there has been far too much infighting lately across the different groups who really are all on the same side, all part of the same folk brought down by the city's machine. I'm here to offer you a job, and it is going to have you work with the grinders, which I know you've not gotten along too well in the past.
Oh,
But
don't
I'm
do
here
it
to ask
like
you
that, Chief. You know Grinders and I, we go way back.
exactly. Well, I'm going to ask you to put aside your differences to do something that might actually which might actually be for the good of this entire community.
Oh no, you got me all wrong. We go back in a good way.
That's good to
Don't
hear.
we? I just wink to the bodyguards.
They kind of like give you a little kind of a uncomfortable, like they're uncomfortable by your by your friendliness, and they kind of give you a sneer. They're
Come on.
they've got these like slightly like the skin around their faces is already kind of in weird melted shapes, and those
Oh,
shapes
I see you
distort.
winking there. I see you wink back. He didn't wink back, did he?
He kind of like he notices like you two doing eyes at each other, and he's like, focus. I have
All right.
my
See,
job for
see.
you is this. He kind of takes out a little bit of a map and lays it out across the table. He on the map is marked a point. So it's kind of it's Duskfall and docks outside in the water, and the lightning barriers are on the north. And a little bit outside the lightning barrier, there is a marked point. Now, he tells you this should be a fairly simple job. I want you to go to the marked point. There, if everything goes right, you should see a shark floating in the water. I need you to to take the shark and remove a box from its mouth. I want you to then take the box back into the city and leave it on a Leviathan Hunter's ship. Now, Leviathan Hunter's ships are usually well guarded, which is why I'm having the grinders set up a distraction. When you approach the docks, give a signal, and the grinders will begin raiding the the raiding Skurlock's ships, which have stayed at the docks, and that should be your opportunity to leave the box on the ship.
Oh,
Does
I'm
that
not so
sound
sure I should be around Skurlock's folks as much. They kind of have some eyes for me, not in a good way. Actually, there's I
do you
think
think it's
there.
something you can't handle?
Well, I mean, if there's the action of a raid going on, might be easy enough to sneak in. But to be perfectly honest, if it's a matter of getting aboard a Leviathan ship, really any of them that are having issues with their lighting and other systems that they use to repel what bad things there are at sea, I could potentially just get on board with a repair job and just accidentally leave some supplies.
Oh no, I think you misunderstand my intention. The Leviathan hunters most certainly do not want this box on their ship. I am
Ah,
asking you to bring it there.
I see. Does it matter necessarily where on the ship, or just somewhere that it won't be noticed before it goes out to sea again?
Doesn't matter as long as they don't notice.
Now, I can leave. I have no problem leaving something somewhere, but this shark? I'm not a fisherman.
Yeah, that's this. There seems to be a little bit more to this shark thing. There usually isn't just a shark floating anywhere. Certainly not with a box.
If you arrive in the 3rd hour to the spot that I've marked on this map, it will be there.
Your first name basis with this shark? Is he?
Let's
Is he a
just say
flake?
that
You think he'll flake?
I've been. I have people, and my people have seen the signs.
I suppose the box then is going to need to be intact and undisturbed as best as possible.
Yes.
And I
Oh, and one
don't
more thing.
suppose you'd be inclined to tell us what's in this box.
No. In fact, I must add that you must not open the box. That is for someone else. That is for another time.
Okay. Let me check something here. So, which one would this be? All right. I'm wondering if this would be consort or sway, but I think I have both skills anyway. I want to see if I can get at least a little bit of information about what's in the box. Like, what type of thing is it? Is it explosive? Is it full of ghosts? Is it really valuable? That kind of thing.
Okay. So, I'm gonna say that is a roll of yeah. So you want to sway Helker to tell you a little bit more about the box?
Yeah, I doubt I can get him to tell me what is in the box. I think he's keeping it secret for a good reason, but I am also a little worried that, like, what if it's explosive and we just don't know?
Oh, all right. I mean, you can I'm gonna tell you that is going to be a it's going to be a risky proposition. He is like
Hmm.
you're already kind of negotiating. You're asking to give a little bit more,
Yeah.
but if you'd like to roll for that, you are free to do so. Roll
The risky
all.
standard effect.
Yep.
All right.
I'll take one stress to help him out.
Oh, okay.
In this, I would be asking, well, I feel like it would be good to know to some extent, just so we can understand the lengths and extent of how it can be handled and so forth.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. How do you roll?
So, how does Czar offer a how does Czar offer a perspective? Bring a perspective to the conversation that Terry can't.
Um,
I mean, I don't know anything about chemistry at all. Let's start with that.
yeah, as a level 2 tinker, I would have a better understanding of like what may or may not be hazardous handling for various, materials and spiritual components and otherwise.
All All right, then roll for sway.
Okay, so this is 3 6-sided dice, I think, because of the
Yep.
help. All right. Oh, type rolling. Rolling 3d6.
No, it's
Slash R.
dash roll.
Slash. Okay.
Sorry, slash, not dash. Slash roll.
Okay.
There we go.
That's well, not great.
So you got a 4, which is going to be a partial success.
Okay.
Right? It's not. There are probably going to be consequences, but you will probably get what you want.
Okay. So let's see. I've got the games up on my other game rules up on the other monitor just to refresh myself.
So he just So Helker kind of looks at you and considers for a moment. But then he just kind of lowers and says, "I can assure you, this will, as long as you don't open the box, it will not cause damage to your ship, and it will not explode. All that I'm asking you is to deliver the box, and it will not harm you as long as you don't open it."
That's all I wanted to know. Nah.
And don't worry about someone else. And don't worry about someone else opening the box. If that happens, it
Is
will
there
be on there.
anything that should be kept out of proximity of the box, other than fire and, you know, things that will fall on it, of course? Is there a certain chemical that we should keep away from it? Certain distance to or from?
Anything that will damage it, I suppose.
What's the make of this box? Is it wood, metal? Is it like a fancy chest? Is it just kind of some dingy little box? Not that I expect that there's going to be multiple sharks at this location with multiple boxes, but just to have a bit of a mental picture of what we're going to be looking for here.
I have not seen the box, so I cannot tell you. All that I know is where it will be and where it must go.
So just for game mechanics, it sounds to me like the mixed success was that we didn't get very much information about the box.
Yes, your result had a reduced effect.
Reduced effect. Ah, gotcha. I mean, that was mostly what I was curious about anyway. So
It's fine. It's fine. Like as we're going,
Harry's
we're
pretty
kind
happy
of
with
like
this.
learning the system and kind of that's how. So since there was a partial success, there is a that you get what you want. There's a consequence, and in this case, the consequence was that your effect was reduced from standard to
Limited, right?
limited. Yeah.
Or reduced. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
Would you be able to secure 2 uniforms that would be used by Skurlock's Leviathan crews? That would give us a much easier opportunity to approach during the action.
I like the way you think. I will. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
So what do we think?
Let's see what he can find.
Seems fairly intriguing. Simple pickup and delivery.
Right. I'm just looking like we're kind of mumbling to each other while we're talking. Right.
Yeah, no. You are quite yeah. So, do you take the job?
All right. Put up one finger if you don't want to refuse, and put up 2 fingers if you want to do it.
2 fingers.
And while he's thinking about that, I say, "We'll do it."
Yeah.
Suddenly, like Helker, who's been very kind of reserved and quiet this entire time, just like he lights up and he's like, "Good. This
There's a smile. I knew we could get along, and I put my hand shake.
is going to help the docks more than you know. You should be proud of yourselves. Well, once you get the box delivered."
Yeah, let's get the job done first, and then we'll reap the rewards for what it means for the docks here.
All right. So, how are you going to go about getting outside of the getting to the extraction point? What's your point of entry here?
Okay, so we're back. We're now at the planning phase.
Yeah, you're now back at the
Well, I just want to say,
barns of the Phantom
as we
Ferryman.
withdraw, as we are departing down the street, I turn and say to Zara's like, what the bloody hell is Shark with a box? Right, nutters.
It's not the weirdest thing I've seen.
Wait, what
or
are we
heard.
getting paid for this? Did we talk about that? We must have talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
no,
You've talked about this. You will receive standard payment for this job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. In character, that must have happened at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're planning.
Yeah. Remember that you don't need to plan anything. You just need a point of entry. Just know how are you going to get to the to the extraction to the pickup
First we
point.
need to get past the lightning barrier.
Yep.
Okay, just pull that up here.
If let's see. If possible, I would see if our contact Niall knows of any potential vulnerabilities at the current moment for
Oh yeah, we got contacts.
ways and places to escape, or otherwise, if they'd have any leads on kind of like a remote repair, if there's any ships known to be outside the lightning barrier that are stuck and can't come in, but require a service of some sort to be able to fabricate papers, so that way we can pass any necessary checkpoints.
All right.
Okay.
So so you go to Niall to essentially see if you can find some vulnerability to cross the lightning barrier?
Yeah.
Okay. So, luckily, Niall luckily, Niall knows of a time when she's already dealt with a bunch of she's familiar with spirit smuggling routes. She knows of a time when bluecoat patrols around the barrier switch, and you should be able to get your ship across with minimal if any hassle. I'm gonna say let's go into the engagement role and see how it goes.
Wait, does that mean we're getting it started, or are we still planning this out?
Oh, good question. Would you like to use that? Would you like to use Niall so Niall is a point of entry here. You can use her to find a vulnerability in the lightning barrier. That is your point
I'm
of entry.
looking up what the lightning. I should have done more research here. I'm looking. What is the lightning barrier exactly?
Okay. So, the lightning barrier is essentially the wall of Duskfall. However, rather than a physical wall meant to keep out physical threats, this one is meant to keep out supernatural threats. The world outside, the Shattered Isles, because of the cataclysm that happened long ago, is filled with malevolent spirits and with spirits and horrors that have actually decimated most of what people would consider, well, civilization. Civilization is kind of packed into these cities where people can actually protect themselves against the outside. That's what the lightning barrier is for.
So it wouldn't really affect us.
Um, I mean, it's still lightning, but there
Oh.
are but your ship has the proper protection to get
Oh.
in.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I was thinking of like cavorting down. But, well, hang on a second. Are there? How would we get a? How would we find and retrieve something for a shark? I was thinking of going down to the pub, whatever pub is frequented by fishermen and the people whose boats go out habitually, to see if I can like eavesdrop or pry out some information from people. But it sounds like we already have a way to get there.
yeah, as long as you have a way to, so you have a point and a time. As long as you're there at the right point, at least according to Helker, as long as you're at the right place at the right time, you should see the shark.
Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to say if I want to have done like set up something clever, we can do it in a flashback maybe.
Exactly. That's kind of the point. I'm
All right.
just know how you're going in, and once you're in, you've already made the plan. Anything you want to be a part of the plan, that can be a flashback.
All right. Well, yeah, let's do it then.
All right. So let's say that you have a friend in contact give you a point in the lightning barrier that's vulnerable, and that is a +1. You currently have no one interfering with the operation. So that's I'm gonna leave that at a +1 to your base 1 die. So let's roll for engagement.
What kind of role is this?
Oh, so the engagement roll is it's not based on a particular stat.
I see.
It's just it's one base die plus and minus different die for advantages and disadvantages.
Got it. Okay.
So you get one base die, and because you're using Niall to find vulnerabilities in Blue Coat patrols, you get one more die. So that's 2 die
Okay.
total. Who wants
Sounds
to
good.
roll those?
I just did a roll,
Yeah,
so
I'll roll it.
All right, go ahead. So that's a 4. Also, just note as I'm kind of reading it, so in Blazing Dark we ignore the total. It's not important.
Yep.
What's important is the highest numbered die. So
Yeah, and
you rolled a
it's
1 and a 4, but we only care about the 4.
the only time you care about more than one the highest die is if there's 2 6s, and that's a critical, right?
Right. The only times when you would care is 2 6s, and that's when there's 2 or more 6s, that's critical, or when you are rolling 0 dice. Because what you do when you roll 0 or fewer dice is that you just roll 2 dice at disadvantage. You take the worst one rather than the best one.
If we got
Oh.
2 6s here, I'd interpret that as the shark comes and finds us.
Pretty much. Or well, it means that you get past the first obstacle like no problem. It means like nothing went wrong with the lightning barrier. You're already at the place. Everything like the entire engagement went smoothly.
Okay.
Um but yeah, so since you've rolled a 4, that means a standard engagement. You are now in. So by the way, what's the name of your boat?
I feel like we would have. I feel like that's one thing we should have.
Yeah, I
done.
don't think we actually named it last session.
We have our hideout, which is that beached boat. I don't even know if we named that though. Let's see.
I kind of feel like this is a larger group decision than the two of us.
All right,
Yeah.
if you want to leave that for later, that's fine. You
Leave it
are-
ambiguous for now.
Yeah. The ship we're using.
Yeah.
So-
Good old faithful ship we always use and totally have a name for.
So you're in your boat, sailing towards the lightning barrier. Blue coat patrols should be low during this time,
Hmm.
but there are still, you can still see owls circling crows circling overhead. And these are not normal crows. These are the crows of the observers, which are specifically meant to, deal with things like this. And of course, this is just where things are likely to be down. You don't actually know if there's a blue coat patrol, if you'll never encounter anyone. So, how do you make sure that you do not encounter any blue coats as you exit the lightning barrier?
Is their job more
I-
to pursue somebody before they get to the barrier, or to chase them outside the barrier?
They're probably not going to chase you outside. You know that blue coats generally don't want to chase people outside the barrier. It's dangerous outside the barrier because it doesn't keep out all the horrors of the outside. But they're still going to stop you if you try to get out.
I wonder if it would be potentially easier to dash all the lights until we get right up to the lightning barrier. I don't think that would keep a swarm of crows from necessarily seeing us, but it would keep the any bluecoats who have been informed from really being able to catch an eye on us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's pretty dark.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think turning out the
there's no
lights
sun,
would probably be
so other
wise.
than the light of your ship and the light of their ships.
Now, I'm thinking I'm definitely going to do a survey roll, and I'm going to give the specifics, but I can't decide if it's going to be about. Are we at the light barrier? Are we close to the lightning barrier?
You're approaching. You're approaching it. Now your job is to get through it without being seen.
Okay. I vote just turn off the lights and stay the course.
All right. So that's going to be a survey. So you said that you want it to be a survey roll?
Well, I don't know if that's going to be a survey roll. That sounds more like a prowl roll, to be honest. And I don't think either of us have any prowl.
Well, I would say because it's more of a mechanical thing to shut everything down, I would be using tinkering for that.
Yeah, prowl is more of like, human body infiltration, and
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with Tinker. Zara's really Zara handles most of the actual machinery and handling of the ship, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And I just say something cool like "Turn out the sunshine, friend."
Right.
Yep, that's pretty much the on-ship dynamic right now.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
Not fast enough.
Hang on, I got a bunch of page sheets covering this. I gotta see.
Or I'm guessing
So
it's
that is a failure.
more likely
Oh,
they're
dear.
like, "Hey, why'd that ship turn its lights off on that?"
And I would assume this
direction.
is a risky and standard effect.
Yes, this is another. So because you got a partial success on the because you got a partial success on the engagement roll, that means you started a risky position for your first obstacle.
Okay.
And now that you've you failed to meet the first obstacle, we are going to see what happens.
So if things go badly, we suffer harm, a complication occurs, or we end up in a desperate position, or we lose this opportunity.
Well, I'm going to say that Czar knows Czar knows the information that Niall gave. He follows that path. He dims the lights. But then there's just, it's a black dot on a black background that you can't quite spot. And then that black dot starts squawking. Right around your... And the moment that happens, you immediately see a light turn on in the distance. And you know that's a blue coat ship. It's not at you. But it's going to check what's going on. What do you want to do about this? It's not there yet. You've not been stopped yet.
Sounds like a
But
complication.
this patrol boat is coming. Is coming.
I think
How are you going to deal with that?
I think I want to make it look like we're having like a slight mechanical failure and kind of start firing things back up one by one, making one of them intentionally flicker and waver a bit. And about by the time they're kind of close enough to say something, to make it look like I just finished repairs or something and it's all back up and running properly.
All right. So as you're so you start turning. So you start turning the things back on. And then a ship kind of like, stops right next to yours. And
a different ship?
The one that was approaching.
Oh, so we didn't get to the light. We didn't get past the light barrier in time, did we?
Well, you still have time, but you have not passed it. Well, that's the question. Do you wait for the ship to arrive?
My vote would be.
Do you want to try escaping it, or do you want to just,
I would vote to continue. Or what was sorry? What? I think Czar. Well, I'm gonna go here. I think.
Does it seem like we have a reasonable chance of actually outrunning it, or is it more likely that it'll catch up? I think the other thing is, if it even gets a good look at the ship, they'll know who to be looking for when we get back.
Well, a few things you should note. One, maybe, but the Bluecoats are very corrupt. It's not like you can't do. It's not like the Bluecoats aren't exactly paragons of the law. You have even if you let the ship arrive, you have options.
Let this encounter happen.
And B, if you try to escape, that's going. You can still do it. You can still just ignore them and get past the lighting barrier. But you're going to be doing it from a worse position. You're going to be doing it in more of a hurry. It's going to be a riskier, more threatening proposition.
Right.
All right. I'm ready to talk to the cops.
Okay. So, lights turn back on. Ship docks next to yours, and a very tired Bluecoat kind of just so a plank lays down, and a very tired Blue stumbles across and says, trouble with your boat?
And Terry just springs like, oh, God blimey! Oh, thank decency you're here, sir. It's just been a hell of a day, hell of a night. We got lost. I think we're almost. I think we're all. Hey, Bucky, you all ready to go?
I think things are mostly ready to go here. Had a little bit of mechanical problems. I think the last of the issues, those Skurlock spies that we saw on the ship a few days ago, planted in our system. I think I've got most of that worked out. I just had to kind of shut things down and bring them back up for a second, but, we're on the safe side of things.
Oh, there you go. Oh, just right when we get help. Is that right? Isn't that how it
always
help shows up? Or right when it's all fixed. Like the best, I always say, the best way to fix something is to call for help because it will start working when it shows up.
Too true.
Well, of course, the Bluecoats are always happy to make sure that ships don't run astray in these dark waters.
Yeah.
But
I'm definitely doing a sway here with this, I think.
oh yeah, no. So he so before you do that,
Yes.
the the Bluecoat just says, of course, we are always happy to help ships that have gone astray. Of course, it's we don't like going around and appreciate it, and we would we would really like to know that you appreciate our work here to actually keep you from wandering off into the lightning barrier.
Oh, it's so
Otherwise, it's
appreciated.
improper.
I mean,
Otherwise, it'd just be improper.
if I wasn't able to repair that steering, I would have had to call for help and have you run us off course yourselves. This is
This is, I know this is not the way you're supposed to do things, but I want to roll for a sway in that if it succeeds, I will describe the effects that happen. Because I know what I'm gonna say, but it's only gonna work if it works.
So, what are you trying to do? Just tell, like,
Okay, so
tell me what you're
I'm trying to basically have him leave us alone.
he's giving you away. Is that, would you like to follow it, or would you like to find some other way to have him?
I
He
was
would like
giving
to
it
show
away.
your appreciate. He would just like to show your appreciation, and then he'll forget that this whole thing ever happened.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, I have
that's
another way to
basically
make
what
him
I
forget this
was.
whole thing ever happened, though.
And by appreciation, I do mean you know, Blue, because he probably wants some kind of bribe to just leave you
Yeah,
alone.
if you want, if we want him to forget this ever happened, I have other ways of having that happen. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. So here's what happens.
Oh, you're going to use eye. Is that?
Mesmerism. Yeah.
Oh, right. You're going to use yeah, you're going to use
Okay,
mesmerism.
so I will explain what happens, and if it fails, then it fails. But Terry, he keeps the same expression on his face. He's got that smile. He's all chum chum,
Hmm.
and he takes the eye patch that's on its left eye, and he opens it. And in the police headlights, you see that there's another eye in there. It has a very pale, almost purple color to it, and the pupil is very small, and the pupil is darting around within the iris, and it looks very sickly, but it's also very focused on the police officer. And you hear Taylor say, "That's enough, officer. We appreciate your work very well, and you appreciate us.
All right.
You can be on your way. We will be on ours."
Roll sway.
All right. And this is how many dice would this be? Would it just be 2 again?
Yeah, I'm going to say that this is going to be still risky, but let's say this is a good effect. You're hitting him with something
Okay.
unexpected.
Okay. 2d6, here we go. All right, so mixed success. No, wait, 2 plus 2. Ah, dang. Well, that was less dramatic than I was hoping.
So that is a 4.
Well, it's 2 2s.
Yeah, sorry, that's 2. So that's a 2. Sorry, it's not a 4. That's a 2.
Mm,
So the guard, so the blue coat just looks at you and says, "Hand us our due right now before we turn you in."
hmm. I well, uh, the eye patch goes down. Flinch slinks off. Terry's back, and he gives Zara a look of like shit.
So, I'm sorry.
um,
What did the guard say
Hand
specifically?
us our due. He wants his cash, mate.
Hmm.
What do we do?
I uh, it's
You have the, by the way, you have the cash.
We have the cash. We could have just
I'm
done
just-
that.
I'm gonna take a let's take a clock here, right?
Oh yeah, clock.
Let's take a clock. I haven't had a chance to take a clock. So, in Blades in the Dark, I'm going to track obstacles with clocks, which are how close things are to happening. So, this was a risky thing. So let's have a little. So can everyone see on 420 my little poorly drawn circle?
Let's see.
yeah.
Yep. So he's at 4 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call this clock. Where is the text? I'm gonna call this clock. Blue coat. Blue coat is sick of your games,
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Um,
and I'm gonna ticket.
I'm kind of leaving this decision to Czar. As a player, I think the wise decision would be to just pay him his bribe. The decision that I am secretly hoping happens would be that we just speed the boat off immediately right now and try to run away. But that's probably that's probably not going to go well for us.
So
That dog's loud. Sorry about that.
no, it's fine.
I think then I would offer. Yes, indeed. Apologies about that.
So you do you hand over the bribe?
Yeah, I ask. So should we bring this to your ship? Are you going to come to our ship, or do you have a long stick that you can grab it with, or something?
So he really just wants a small. You give him a small pouch full of silvers, right? Um.
But it's like the question of like, are our ships near each other and we're shouting back to each other? Or did they
Oh
already?
no. He has like a little. There's a little. So your ships are kind of docked next to there's a little plank connecting them.
Oh, okay.
He's on your. He's on your.
Yeah.
Both of which are like kind of like barges, so fairly small, right? This is like. Both are fairly small ships. So. You hand it over. He kind of like just nabs it. And puts it in his coat. And he says, "Don't forget who keeps you safe."
Oh, I
And
never forget.
and he just walks, and he just kind of like walks away
And
exasperatedly.
Terry very meekly says, like, and all right, and don't worry, mate. Ed, Eddie Van Giefer never forgets a face, forgets a friendly face. And he just turns back to Czar with this like look in his mouth.
So you've gotten rid of the blue coat, but he hasn't. This is going. The blue coats will remember this. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that clock. I'm gonna keep that clock ticked.
Yeah. Well, Eddie Van Giefer better watch himself.
And with that out of the way, you proceed past the lightning barrier. And as you use the technology to pass through this field, and it's gradual, but it feels more instant. The moment you go, you're no longer in the city. The lights were already away, but now they just seem like another world. Of the the sounds of the ships and the horns and the smokes that were far away, but now they're gone. You are no longer home.
This brings me back.
Is this has either of you do either of you go past the lightning barrier frequently?
As per the backstory, he spent a lot of time outside the lightning barrier back by the islands.
All right.
Terry does not.
Probably
Okay.
over a year at a time, sustained once.
All right. So there's a bit more of there's a short sail to the point where you are supposed to meet a shark, and it goes by in eerie silence. There are
Yeah, fishy.
very few.
Fishy.
There's an inky blackness below you, and it's like
Yeah, fishy, fishy.
it's as if you're floating in space.
Give us a big smile.
If we had the luxury to, with our timing and everything, I would have tried to approach as slowly as we could to try to draw as little attention from the creatures of the sea that might be homing in on our engine.
All right. So the ship steers cautiously, with the occasional cry from Terry.
Yeah,
but-
fishy, fishy.
Eventually, you see a kind of right at the center of this black space enveloping you. You see a little disturbance. That disturbance is the indicator of a dead shark just floating in the water.
And in his mouth.
So, you take the shark, and in its mouth is a simple box made of rusted iron. And on the box is a well, you see that there seems to be a candle on the box, just like engraved.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, an engraving of. Who takes the box?
Oh, it's fairly small.
Yeah, it's like it's handheld, right? It's about something that you could yeah, it's a small box.
I'd probably take
just-
it. If there's
Yeah, I just
anything,
turned to him. I was like, you take the box, I'll take the shock.
anything haunted about it, then, at the very least, it shouldn't really affect me.
Okay.
For I am Drudo the Unhaunted.
Aha. So you pick up the box. It's very small. It's very cold. It's very sad. It's kind of you pick it up and you feel you just feel sad.
Hmm.
And then when you put the box down, it seems to that sadness seems to dissipate a bit.
Interesting.
What do you think? What's in it?
Something tragic, I think. For
You
lack
think
of a
it-
better way to put it.
Do you think that killed the shock? Out of sadness?
I have a hard time believing that a shark that's belly up with a metal box in its mouth that appears at a certain time of the day is really killed by anything more than the ritual by which they put it in this position.
Oh, I think he was sad because he never got to meet your old pal Terry. Am I right? Nudge, nudge.
All right. So, box in, well, on ship. You sail back. And as you do, you kind of you're carrying something powerful, and the ghost field feels that you feel the tingle on your skin, the kind of metallic taste in your tongue that signals that the ghost field isn't exactly quiet right now. There's something nearby. How do you deal with the ghosts outside the barrier?
I
Oh, there's ghosts outside the barrier.
want to bring the box as close as we can safely put it, where it won't kind of get knocked off or fall in a bad way or anything, to the lantern, the fancy one at the front of the ship, in hopes that it will kind of help shield its presence from the ghosts and spirits nearby.
Okay, so what do you want to use to avoid attracting the attention of the ghost?
So it's the lantern towards the front of the ship, the one that's being used for the strongest part of the warding, to bring the box as close as I can, kind of leave it there, where it's not going to get knocked off or fall or bumped or anything like that, but where it can kind of sit securely and be pretty well enveloped by the light. Even maybe putting a couple of sticks or dice or something under it to kind of float it up so the light can get all around it.
So you're trying to set up a kind of. Are you trying to set up something mystic? So roll me a tune.
Sure.
I'm thinking about what items I could have had to protect us from ghosts.
I guess if we had picked an inventory,
Oh, here's a question. Did we determine what load we have when we started?
No, I don't think you have. What load are you carrying?
What's the advantage? Well, I mean, we're on a ship, so I think it makes sense to have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you for now. Let's say that you're allowed to carry.
Okay. And let me look at this. So, one of the things I can have on my sheet is a Spirit Bane charm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that would help? Is that something that I would expect to help against the ghosts or what have you that lies outside the barrier?
Oh, certainly.
All right.
It's a bane of spirits.
All right, I have a Spirit Bane charm. Now, I probably have to figure. I probably at some point should specify what that charm is.
Now is a good time as any.
All right.
What does your spirit bane charm look like?
What would it look like?
Jokingly, I say the box trap from Ghostbusters, but that maybe isn't quite canon here.
Yeah, I don't think that's his style. Hang on a sec. I gotta send a text real quick.
Also, the Spirit Range charm does not actually take space in your inventory because it's in italic, which means that it doesn't count for load.
Wait, items don't count for load?
This one,
No,
the other one doesn't.
one's in italic.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's, I think, more the consideration of whether it's on your person or not if you get caught with it. But yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, he's got a He's got a he's got a little action figure, I'm gonna say. He has like a novelty sort of like doll or as a small figure of some rather corpulent bureaucratic looking person who is he doesn't really know how or why this thing repels spirits, but it does. There's something in its eyes, maybe, or it has a past that he's not aware of. He just, I don't know how he found it, but it's just this little like, little porky, he calls it.
Yeah, let's. I'm actually imagining. You have these like old 19th century dolls that kind of have this like cloth body and a porcelain face, essentially.
Yeah,
They are usually terrifying. So is it something kind of like that, but of a essentially fat politician?
yeah, it is. It's something really like the the like imagine the demeanor of Governor Radcliffe from Pocahontas and the charming good looks of Ebenezer Scrooge.
Okay, so Terry has his doll, which he calls, what does he call it?
I just wrote in Lil Porky. I might change that later. I'm
Feel
trying
feel
to
feel,
think of
feel,
something
feel
that
free by the way.
sounds super British.
Little Porky.
Lil Porky.
Yep.
Hey, Lil Porky.
So are you going to attune?
Oh, am I going to attune? Ooh. Well, I can try. I have a 0 in attune.
You can always remember that you.
Oh, you can push yourself. Oh, I should have done that back at the boat. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, remember that you can always just have other ways. You can get assistance, and you can either push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
I'll do the devil's bargain.
Oh, so you want to? Okay. So let's
Well-
just say that.
Do I say that after I fail?
No. You take so you take the. I offer you. So the devil's bargain is I'm going to offer you something, right?
Okay.
And you can choose right now, and you can choose to either take it and get an extra die, or reject it and not take the extra die. And even if you reject it, you can still spend stress to get the extra die instead.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Okay. So
I should have spent stress on the boat. That would have made so much more sense. Oh well.
let's say that attuning to the I'm gonna say that Filch's name is?
Yes. Filch is in there too. I don't think of him necessarily Porky, but we can explore that too. Or no, sorry, not Filch. Flinch.
Flinch. So let's say that Flinch is not gonna be. He's not in the mood to be like bugged by disturbances in the ghost field right now, and he's going to be. If you try doing this, he's gonna be a little cross. He's gonna be a little cross with you for a bit. Probably like next time. Next time you try to, call on him for aid.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take that. I think that's what would happen. By the way, I'm deciding Little Porky has his head is like the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas, and that there's two sides on either there's two faces on either side. There's like a
Alright.
happy looking one, and there's a very, very disturbingly mean looking one.
Okay.
All right. I'll throw
The happy one's out.
a stress to help him out then.
Huh?
You want to talk to Little Porky?
Wait. So you help him out.
Alternatively, could I attune with the lantern stuff and he assists me? Well, wait, no, you already.
I mean, we're already kind of in the action.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want, you can help
Yeah, I'll
by
probably help.
you can you can assist by taking stress. So or you can protect. So you're gonna take one stress.
Mhm.
Okay. You said he wants to talk to Little Porky. Is that something that's going to be part of this little
Just tell
ritual?
him about your day.
Is that going to be part of the ritual you're conducting?
Well, yeah. You just have a little conversation with him.
Okay. So in the middle of a boat,
Yes.
you have a person sitting down on the deck, staring at a doll that is sitting across from him. And he talks to the doll. And Zar, you like the doll's eyes are just staring into your soul. Like right now, it is the creepiest doll. Like something about it.
It's giving him stress, isn't it?
It's just like looking at it. You talk to it.
I have a feeling like I've tried to get people to do this with me before, and no one ever says yes.
And it is a wrong doll.
Right. Well,
So
then,
take one stress and roll me a tune +2.
All right. So 0 plus 2, that's 2d6. All right, mixed success.
No, that's a 2.
What?
That's 2 4s.
I rolled a 4 and a 4.
Whoops, sorry, I was a little bit up chat. So
Yeah, the last one was the 2 and the 2.
yeah. Thank you for reminding me. So yeah, that's
My
a
pleasure.
4. That's a 4, which is a success. But so Czar talks to little Porky, and here in this space you feel like little Porky is the authority here. He's a small doll, but here he seems large, right? His face is just terrible, and there's this terrible silence, and your skin is crawling, and you are I'm gonna say that you are shaken at level which as a level 2 harm, as this kind of
Oh, wow. Wait, who's getting the harm? Is it Terry or is it Zor?
it's Terry. It's everything. It's
Okay.
everything in Terry's head. It's Flinch and Porky and the silence and the way they occupy the space, and it like in the moment it gets to him. He kind of
I would if I could venture a status to put on level 2, I would say shaken.
You wouldn't say?
I would say, yeah. It sounds like I'm shaking.
Yeah, that's what I say. You're shaken at level 2.
Yep. Okay. So -1 die going forward. It looks like.
Yeah.
Is this on everything?
Um, probably.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna start taking some. I'm gonna start pushing myself with some stress soon.
is it when it's full? I think it might be when it's full. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm currently blanking on the rules.
Let me look it up.
Yep.
Let's see, harm.
Consequence and harm. There we go. So if it so sorry, it's if it applies to
If it applies to the situation.
yes.
Okay. So I could see that as any of the resolve rolls, for example. Like it's hard for me to really be the charming bloke I am if I am thinking about Porky in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
All
Like
right.
you're occupied by other things, specifically just how like yeah. So after what seems like forever of just hearing this rambling, I imagine just like you're continuing to talk to this person, the conversation just becomes more and more like nonsensical as you have to continue talking to this
Oh
doll.
yeah, it's like being in a dream. Like
Yeah.
it gets harder to really parse what's going on.
So after what seems like forever of just floating through space and talking to dolls, you see the lightning barrier again. Just like yeah, you see the lightning barrier again. And it is a big relief. So, um let's so you get through the lightning barrier, you go and you start approaching the docks again, and it is like as you approach, you just notice the noise. There's essentially a riot going on, right? The grinders are going around and just like they're basically just like vandalizing. They're doing some they're just like raising some hell, vandalizing some docks, and um yeah,
Were we
how do
able
you get
to
past that?
secure
There's like
some?
people. There's just people running around, a lot of screaming, and you know what ship you have to get to.
Were we able to
But you
secure
actually
some
have
uniforms, or was that not made available before we set sail?
right, the uniforms. Yeah,
Hmm.
let's say that you were able to get a uniform.
A uniform.
A
Huh.
uniform. From a friend of Helk.
Hmm.
I. So Terry has a little more expertise, kind of sneaking around, right?
Oh yeah. I
I
mean,
would.
he's got a well. Uh, he doesn't have prowl, but he's kind of more of a look for a way in guy, and then not, he doesn't really sneak. In fact, that's kind of not how he does it. He surveys the situation. He looks for ways in. He looks for people to work his way in, and he goes in the more hiding in plain sight kind of route. Like he always has some he always has some story about a work order or like he always some reason needs to be there. I mean, he's done a lot of odd jobs where he was in charge of contracting workers and getting into obscure places and fixing things up. So that's really how he rolls.
All
So
right.
one thing we could do is I could have the uniform introduce you as a repairman, because you seem to have the skills and tools to look like a repairman and seem like one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna count that. So mark. Say actually, don't mark anything.
Okay.
So yeah, how are you? So you're walking kind of. So do you put on the uniform now as
I probably would have put it on before getting off the ship so nobody sees me changing or, anything like that.
Wait, am I wearing it or are you wearing it?
Who's wearing it?
I thought I was
Are you? I
was
guess
trying to
that's
look
what we
like,
didn't reconcile. Are we gonna have you look the part and sneak, or are we gonna have, or was it a repair sort of uniform and then I'd be wearing
well,
it?
I was gonna wear the dock worker's uniform. You can wear whatever because you are hired help.
Gotcha.
So you're such a dog. It's a Leviathan hunter. That like it's an officer. You like that's why it's a uniform, right? Essentially, it's a naval officer's uniform
Oh, okay.
because it's that's what I mean by uniform, right?
Okay. Well, that would be interesting if I had to play at being an officer of some kind, but I think I'm up to the job.
However, before you do that, there is still the matter of essentially getting through the distraction that was supposed to like cover for you. Essentially, there's just a lot of chaos on the docks right now.
Hmm.
The blue coats are trying to like arrest people, and it's kind of like within that framework, how are you trying to get onto the boat?
Well, let's see. Is the boat is docked, right?
Boat is docked.
Boat is docked, and it's is it just complete chaos on? Is it at the pier? Is it sideways next to the pier?
Yeah, so it's at the pier, but the pier is kind of like where the chaos is. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Not on
Hmm.
the boat. They're mostly the Leviathaners really don't want to. They're distracted, like they're trying to make sure that no one gets on their boat, but they don't. But they're kind of preoccupied with trying to get the grinders from you know taking anything.
Hmm. I'm going to. I, I'm just gonna look for some. I'm gonna see if I can find someone I can reach on the boat who is not currently fighting or distracted. Someone that I can just talk to. So I'm gonna survey for that, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm. I don't think I'm going to push myself on this one. Because I think if it's, I mean, okay, so this would be, is this controlled or is this risky?
Oh, this is definitely not controlled. It is. This is a risky action,
Okay.
and I'm going to say that it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna go risky Sandra with this one.
Okay. Um, all right, yeah. So I'm gonna survey. That's 2d6. Rolling the dice. It's a 5.
Okay, so that is a partial success. You you so you see someone who is going to you find someone who might be actually willing to take you in. It's one sailor on the Leviathan ship is well, kind of staying at the pier, and he kind of seems like there's an opening towards him, and he's kind of looking suspiciously over at the entire thing, but he's not he's not outside, he's not trying to fasten anything. He's open. He's
All
not
right.
too he's kind of like he's kind of just standing there with a very grim look on his face.
All right. All right. Here's what's happening. I'm going right up to him. I'm gonna push myself on this one.
How
Oh,
do
but
you
I still.
approach?
Oh, I still have that shaken problem, huh? So that would still be a 2d6, and that would probably might fail.
It's not the end of the world.
Sorry.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
Negative one.
but on the other hand, I'm looking at all my items, and I've only used the charm, and I'm thinking
Remember that you can also go back.
Sorry?
You can also do something in the past.
Oh yeah, flashback.
Do you know so like if you know someone on the ship, that's good too.
Yeah, so it seems like this would be a flashback where something unlikely happens. I'm gonna say that I was out doing some research at the dock workers pub before we did this, and um, I just happened to have met this guy.
Okay.
So I think that's
So
is that like one stress for that?
no, I'm gonna say no stress. That
Okay.
seems like if Terry was out before that seems like something that Terry would do, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's
But
part of and yeah, he's a dock worker. He drinks there. Let's say that it's called the ah let's say it's called the dripping faucet.
dripping faucet. Okay, great. Something that hmm, having a faucet sounds like something you would miss. I guess if they're dock workers, they don't really have to sail a whole lot. All right, dripping faucet. Um now I don't know how much you do like rolling for things in
Leaky.
flashbacks, but I'm gonna say that I I went up to him. He's like, "Oh, you ready for making the repairs tomorrow? Right? You remember that?" Just kind of like make him think. Well, yeah, of course I know that where the ship's getting repaired. Like I'm not derelict in my duty. I know what's up.
Um okay, I'm gonna say roll sway
Okay.
without your shaken, because you are not shaken.
Okay. I'm gonna push for this one because I'm failing too many in my rolls. So that's two stress, right?
Yeah, you're laying it on thick.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that it took me a while to I talked with a lot of dock workers, I'm gonna say, to get to this particular one, which means I had to stay at the pub for a long time, and it was I had to sober up real quick in the morning, and I'm kind of lingering effects of having a hangover causing some stress.
All right, so we have a hungover smuggler in front of a confused dock worker, and what do you say to the confused to
Well,
our?
I'm not hungover yet. I'm gonna have the stress later. I'm just saying, like, all right, like, ready for the repairs tomorrow. Like, I don't care what happens. You gotta let us on. Like, this is paramount importance. Like, we have to fix the ship or we'll lose it. When you see the worker, uh, you have like me. I'm losing my accent here because I drunk so much. No, you gotta let us on, right? Like, you got that order too, right? I want to make sure.
All right. Let's roll consort and see what happens.
I rolled the 3d6 already, and it was another mixed success.
Okay, so that's a 5.
Yeah.
So, so he's just like, so he's drawn. So we have our ratty-haired dock worker here, and he's kind of this rail thin fella that just kind of has his glass, and he's like, order, I didn't hear of any order. Fine, see you, I'll let you in.
Sounds like I got to him as much as I could have.
Yeah. However, he like when he sees you, he remembers you, but he also kind of looks at you weirdly, and that's because he is a tad suspicious of you. So I'm gonna make another clock. Also, can you see my drawings?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm
is this
gonna make
4 o'clock?
Yep, called
I'm imagining him as like the equivalent of the pimply faced teenager stereotype worker.
he's yeah, he's young, thin, and kind of a lightweight with alcohol. So I'm just gonna say, crew alertness is at A2 right now.
Okay. Just like the next morning, like, what was up with that one guy in the bar?
Yeah, pretty much. And he like when you approach the boat, right? He recognized, right? He's like, it's that guy from the bar. Wait, he was really weird. He just kind of gives you that strange look.
But he also has subterfuge supplies, a selection of blank documents ready for the forger's hand. I think this is the plan I decided I was going to go with ahead of time. Say the forged work order, urgent.
Characters have planned for this.
So I'm going to have the supplies as one of my items now too.
Okay. So you have your forged work orders. He lets you onto the boat. He just it's you. It's chaos out there. You sure you want to do this now?
We gotta do it right now. Right now, we have to do it. Go.
Sure, I'll open the right now. And he just opens the hatch. And he's like, it should be down there.
All right, let's make it snappy.
While all that was going on, I was basically kind of standing behind.
Thank you for waiting, by the way. I realized that was mostly just me and the
a big sheaf of various documents, mostly like engine blueprints and designs for Leviathan class ships. So, if anybody took a glance at me, they wouldn't really see my face. They'd mostly just see this dude who's kind of heads down, looking at a bunch of engine schematics with a sizable tool bag kind of sitting around his shoulder.
All right. So you're about to descend. So you descend below docks, and he actually the sailor. Let's call him Anton.
All right.
Anton stops you, Terry, and says, actually, the mechanics on the ships are incredibly cranky. They they really don't like the officers, so it's actually probably going to be for the best if you just let the engineers hash this out between them.
All
Make them
right.
angry.
I will. I motion for. I motion. I motion for Czar to go on in. You're on your own, buddy.
Yep. This is what I do.
Look at this guy. What a professional. Oh wait, no, I'm not. I got to tone down the charm because I'm trying to pretend like I'm freaking out here.
All right, then. When past the threshold, what am I faced with? It's a engine room. There's some amount of mechanics scurrying
so you're
about,
faced
hanging around.
with an engine just pipes all over the place, bending in weird ways. Occasionally you're going to see the glow of Leviathan blood that fuels the ship kind of running through in the occasional glass container. And there are and you hear people. You hear the clank of tools being used, footsteps around. What do you do?
Probably take a minute just to compare what engine sort of stuff I'm looking at relative to any of the documents and schematics I have, and while doing so, trying to see if there's anything I could claim to be there to repair or upgrade in, just like a small fix where it would be something that I could kind of, stash the box in the process.
All right. So I'm gonna call. So you want to find a place to kind of stash the box?
Yeah, but to also be looking at like a legitimate place where the engine could be repaired or upgraded or tuned up, kind of based on my understanding of these things. And admittedly, a Leviathan class engine I generally don't get to work on as much. It's usually smaller ships that I get to do repairs on. So not necessarily overwhelmed, more like kid in a candy shop, like, oh, so that's how they did it. Fancy.
Okay. I'm gonna call that a so let's say I'm gonna call, and that seems to me like a survey action, because you're trying to look for a good entrance and a good you're trying to understand. You're literally trying to survey the ship for both a non-suspicious place and a good hiding place. However, you have the schematics of the ship, so let's call this a controlled survey roll.
Okay.
You're surveying a place, but you're surveying a place that you
All right. I'm gonna
not
have to
directly.
push myself if I really want to have a chance at this one then. Or is the difference between 0 and 1, or rather, no, it'd be a difference of 1 and 2. That's probably still worthwhile.
You can push yourself. You can also take a devil's bargain.
What would the devil's bargain be if I was going to take it?
The devil's bargain is going to be that someone sees you and they're not going to immediately know that you don't belong, but they're going to put 2 and 2 together later.
I'm fine with that. I don't expect the usual the ship crews to be aware of me, but maybe afterwards, like one of the reports of, have you seen this guy? One of them's like, oh, fuck me, he was right next to me.
Yeah, I'm going to say that someone is going to, yeah, pretty much. I'm going to say that if that happens, someone's going to see you and see your face. And are you masked right now?
No.
Someone's going to see you and see your face, and they're later going to
I'd maybe
realize that you didn't belong.
Rub a little grease on my face and hands and stuff preemptively, so like I look like I'm dirty and I've been up in there and I didn't just like appear out of nowhere.
So yeah, that's going to be my devil's bargain.
Okay, I think I will take that then.
Okay. So I don't think you take any assistance, so roll me. Yeah, roll that.
All right. 5 it is.
Okay. So you kind of shuffle along the crew, and some of them see you, but they don't really. They pay you no mind. Um, their heads. They're all these car people, and their heads are low, and they don't really. They kind of look like they're too in their work to really, I don't know, engage with anything or anyone. They're not fully. They're not fully present.
That makes
The other
sense.
people in the engine room. Just bent backs, sooty faces, and just yeah. And in all that, you find a place to put the you kind of go around the ship, and you through scans you find places they're probably not going to notice, and you place the box there. Nothing, and you look at it for a moment, and nothing happens. It's just a box between some machinery.
Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Inconspicuous. Anything I can do to, further conceal it, maybe some tape or tack down a plate over it or something. Otherwise, I mean, that's mostly what we're looking for here. In terms of somebody seeing me, do I see that they see my face?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them as you head back through the bowels of the ship, one of the workers kind of he finishes tinkering with the little electroplasm vial he was tinkering with, and he looks up as if to just take a breath and take a break, and that kind of glassy look in his eyes focuses for a moment, as if just he's kind of back in the world for a moment, and then he sees you, and then he looks back again, sighs, and back
Probably
to his work.
go and hmm. Do I know what part he's working on?
He's working on probably something that has it's some kind of glowing Leviathan blood contraption, probably something to do with the distribution of power throughout the ship. He's back in his work. He just took a very
Okay.
brief break.
All right. That's fine then. I'm not going to bother him. Just so long as he didn't know where I came from when I did my little repair. That's the most important part.
He saw you.
Okay. Did I got a good look at his face too then?
Yeah, you'd it's you notice some identifying feature, a particular, the shape of the nose, a particular beauty spot on the right cheek, something this to spot the face again. So
All right.
you head out. And what's Terry doing as what's Terry doing on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Doesn't have to be productive. Just how is he? What is he doing?
he's kind of like, all right, well, I posed as an officer. I kind of have to play the part. So he's just doing a little bit like, you know, acting like he's part of the situation. Just like, all right, you take them, you make sure that's battened down, make sure someone's getting in, make all right, you go over there. Like he's not like kind of weakly ordering people around, just trying to look busy. Um, all the while he's just like, oh, I hope this works.
All right. So while you're doing that, you see that Czar is starting to come out, and then as you're doing that, you see like um you just hear someone yell, "What are you doing?" And you look, and there's this officer-looking fellow heading down the pier and running onto the ship.
Hmm.
And he gets on, and he immediately says, "Quick, we have to help." The ship names. Uh,
The
so actually, there is a ship across. There is a ship across the dock. The grinders are laying into right now. What is it called?
across a ship across the dock.
Yeah.
The 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 Griselda.
Sure, the Griselda. Thank you. Um, and he runs on, and he's like, what are you laying about there for? The Griselda is under attack right now. We have got to go and help them." And the Anton is just like quickly like straightens up. The like generally like the people who are still on the ship have been kind of like not really, the actual commotion is far away, and they all just immediately get up, and commotion starts again. People are running around, and then he looks at you, Terry,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of like mirrors of each other almost. You see your chests have the
Who's
same
this other
metal
person? Sorry, which person's looking at me right now?
on them, and he's like, "And who are you?"
Um, oof. Um, hmm.
And
How far away are these
so
people?
that's happening on one side. On the other side, Czar is out, right? Presume like he is out of the engine.
I would have probably exited back where Terry was at so he would know and not just be left hanging. Um
Oh, what do you mean by that?
so well where Terry wouldn't necessarily be able to see Czar leaving the engine room if he's like leaving the ship from the engine room.
Oh, you can't leave the ship from the engine room.
Okay.
You're both.
Yeah, no, then I would have probably returned to where Terry and Anton were at, still like looking at the blueprints, this time like muttering angrily and smacking it in a few different places.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
You are
And when that comes in, when the guy comes in and starts saying about that, I would probably just real quickly say, "Sirs, there's some pipes that haven't been delivered. Are they out on the docks? Are they here yet? I gotta go check. You, sir, please, we need to do this. Otherwise, this ship's
Well,
not
let's
gonna
go.
be moving."
Let's go. Let's go.
um. Okay, so you are trying to Huh. I'm gonna say that that is going to be a
I
that's an
might
interesting advantage there because you're
quote
using
the specific type of pipe that it is, the
yeah, no, you're using
A95V.
urgency. Interesting. Um, so roll me sway. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a sway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help out. So you're saying like the pipes in the other ship are broken, and then Terry's gonna make a random like thing to say back. It's like, oh, not not the combustion pipes. Oh, like we could lose everything. We lose the whole pier.
Yeah,
Or
let's say.
worse.
Yeah, let's say that is a. I'm gonna say it's a desperate roll. Um, Standard effect.
Do I
Sway.
do I take stress for helping?
Yes, you do. This is a stressful situation.
One stress.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Does having the document still help with this? The
Um,
blueprints?
I would make
no.
the argument that there's no way I could have had that written ahead of time.
Okay.
Or you could try something to get you out. You could try something ahead of time to get you out of this predicament.
I
Some
mean,
kind of means to
I
conveniently
I've
escape,
got the
or you could go through with this plan. Both
I
are
have
valid ways to play
trans
this game.
powder I can use as an item, but I don't think that would help this particular effect. So I have some backup options, I think.
What are your backup options?
Well, I have trance powder, which causes a pleasant hypnotic trance when inhaled. I'm not sure how well that would work in this particular situation. Um, I have a hmm. I have a lot of weaponry here. I don't think I'm in any state to fight these people, but I feel like I could use that to get people distracted enough in some way if I really had to think about it.
I mean, people are arming them. They are so around you. People are bustling and arming themselves because they're about to leave the ship and help the Griselda over, like, just protect themselves from the crew of grinders that's just smashing their boat up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this captain is trying to get people to come along, but you're here and you're not supposed to be here. And what? How do you leave?
I mean, we got to go to those
Yeah.
pipes.
Basically, the intent is trying to persuade that there's pipes that are on the docks that might be vulnerable to attack right now. That haven't even made it on the ship yet, and will be necessary for this ship to get moving again.
All right. You know what? Both of you actually, Terry, roll sway.
All
Let's
right.
make this a group. Let's make this a group act. Sorry, both of
Oh,
you.
okay. Group action.
Both
Now,
roll sway.
how many? I start with two. I lose one because I'm still shaken. I accidentally call one of those people little Porky, let's say. And what other effects are we piling on here? Like, do we get other dice from this story that we're weaving?
No. The story is setting the effect and
Hmm.
the position.
So this is still just 1d6 then.
Your position is going to be desperate because he is this close to.
Yeah.
Your position is
Hmm.
desperate. Your effect is regular, and
I don't want to take more stress. Hmm.
then
Uh, do you have a devil's bargain for me?
always.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's say that the devil's bargain is going to be that This the the distraction the grinders are making, they're a rough crew and they're going to get a bit out of control, and it's going to cause. I'm going to start taking a clock about if you do this, I'm going to say that they get so rough that I'm going to start taking a clock about the dock workers' unrest.
But I mean,
And
if we
that's going to be a persistent one. That is going to be a
okay,
building unrest. Going to make it a bit
I
longer.
will take that bargain then.
Okay, let's call. I'm going to make this a 6. Let's say that we have. So right now there should be two clocks
Mhm.
on the board, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add a third one.
Yeah. Okay. And while you're doing that, so it's 2d6 minus 1 plus 1 again, and just roll 2d6.
I'll probably take
Both of
a.
you. This is a group action.
Okay.
Oh,
Do we both roll 2d6?
Yeah, the way it works is you both roll. You take the better result, and you choose someone to lead this, and whoever leads this gains 1 stress for every failure.
okay. All right. I think we're.
So who's lead? Actually, that should be fiction. Who's leading this whole scam you're pulling on?
It sounds like Zara is.
Okay, so Zar, you and you and Terry roll, and Zar, if either of you fail, you'll take 1 stress for each of you.
Okay.
Okay. And also, this is a desperate situation, so we get one of us gets XP for it, or both of us.
Um, the Let's figure that out later.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Rolling. Okay, mine's a failure.
All right. So that's fine. I'll take a stress on that.
Okay, and Zar, how is Zar doing?
I don't know if you're able to see at the bottom. It was a 5 and a 4.
Oh, sorry.
It's a mixed success.
Yep.
They haven't given us a single 6 this entire time. That's
That's
not
true.
really a probability that jives.
Yeah, it's unlikely that that would have been a thing. But you know what? It can only go up from.
I mean, it happens. It's not.
Yeah, we've
Yep.
gotten 4 1s, but no 6s.
It's
Someday-
very unlikely.
Yeah, I know.
that
It's
this would have
very.
happened after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20 rolls. The odds of getting no 6s for 20 rolls are yep, 2.6%.
Nice.
This was an extraordinarily unlucky night.
Yes.
But
This was a rough one.
Yep, but it looks like you are going to make it through this.
And I will say, regardless of that, I the podcast I listened to where they did Blades in the Dark. This is kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
A lot of rough things happen to everyone, but you usually do succeed.
Totally.
So, you are just so you kind of plead with him that there's stuff on the docks and you need to get to it, and you're not sure if he's convinced, but then you hear an explosion. Just
From
and
where?
he cries and yells, and you're not sure where it's from far away. And that, he looks at you. Sorry, he looks at it, and he's just like, "We have to go." And him and the cruiser army are just run out, and you run out with them, but not quite with them. You split away, and you seem
We're
to
right
be
behind you.
And you seem to be out of danger for now, as yelling and the clanking of steel just becomes a little bit farther away. And It looks like you might have made it tonight. So yeah,
All right.
that's our run.
Excellent.
So,
All right. So we got the job done. I'm assuming that the crew of that ship are going to drown in misery or something. And I got some stress. Czar got some stress. I got some harm to work off. Flinch is a little cross with me. We'll work that out.
I'm gonna start ticking another little clock.
Hmm.
Da-ba-ba-ba-bum.
So unfortunately, I didn't give context to each of the rolls. The first roll I did, that was to snuff the lights, right?
Something like that, yeah.
First one was to
Yeah.
snuff the lights. The second one was to find a repair spot, and the third one was persuasion to get out. So the two technical ones are more the things that grant experience for a leech. Technical skill or blowing shit up.
Oh, right. We got those to look at too, don't we?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we have another little clock here that I'm going to tick because a worker saw you,
Mm-hmm.
and you did just, the grinder instruction did just cause chaos in one of Lord Skurlock's ships. So I'm going to
Yeah.
make another clock called Lord Skurlock's Attention. And that's going to take 2 for the operation and 1 for being noticed by a worker.
Yep.
Yeah, this would have, this would have normally been a good chance to use mesmerism, but a number of things would have made that very difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's figure out, but since you made it out, you get some rewards,
All right.
Yeah.
which is going to be pretty sweet.
Okay. So,
Let's say that, so you get gold and rep and some heat.
okay.
This is going to be my first time running downtime in a bit, so let's just go through it step by step.
All right. I've got the gang sheet open.
Nice, thank you.
So we used a coin first of all, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so you get 2 rep
Okay.
plus 1.
Okay. Let's see, 2 by faults, and the target was a higher tier. Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get 3 rep.
3 rep. All right. I recorded that.
Wait, no, sorry, 4 rep.
4 rep. Ooh. All right.
Yeah, Lord Sterling is a tier 3. So that's 4 rep.
All right. Done.
4 coin.
4 coin. Okay. So take 1 away and add 4. Oh man, we're gonna. Well, I guess we're gonna probably spend some of it soon, but we're right now
Oh, you're going to start stashing it.
our pockets are full.
Well, you do have a stash though. Like it's not
Oh,
exactly
okay.
carry. As you get coin, some of it will end up in the stash.
Okay.
And that's fine. So that is that. You get 4 heat as well. I'm gonna say that was allowed, especially with the grinders.
Yeah. We
That was
got-
allowed. That was loud and chaotic.
Well, that's the question
Yeah.
though. Is that us getting heat or is that the grinders getting heat?
Both.
I
Okay.
kind of feel like enough people noticed us to connect us with this whole happenstance.
Yeah. So both. So yeah, you get 4 heat.
Okay.
Um. And now I will roll.
Let's see. For entanglements?
Yup.
Okay. Based on our heat. Ooh, okay.
Let's see. So you're still not wanted. Very well. And now we're going to go to downtime activities.
Oh, did you roll it in secret?
Yes. This is gonna come up later.
Okay. I very much await that. All right, downtime activities. So assets, projects, recovery, heat, training, and indulging.
Yep, so you can acquire an asset, go on a long-term project, recover, reduce heat, train, or indulge in a vice to reduce stress.
Okay, let's see.
And you get 2, I believe.
Okay. Oh.
Yep, you can take 2 activities, and each additional one will cost you either 1 coin or 1 rep.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You each get 2 downtime activities, and you can do an extra activity. You can do additional activities for 1 coin or 1 rep.
I see. Hmm. Playbook advancement. And
How much stress
So
is removed per downtime?
I think you roll.
For what?
For stress removal?
Yeah. So that is going to be you roll your worst attribute rating. So that's going to be, for you, Tsar, that would be 1 die, because your resolve is the weakest attribute. And I believe you lose that much stress. Yeah, check.
Oh,
Clear stress.
sorry. One thing I forgot to do is I didn't mark my XP in the playbook advancement. I'm just looking at the stuff here. You know what? If finish doing this and come back to me.
Yeah, let's do XP at the end of the session, okay?
Oh, okay, okay.
And then we can just sort it
So
out.
3, that clears it all. That's pretty sweet.
Wait. Is it exact or is there over?
It's exact.
Okay.
That's
Because
good.
going over means overindulging in your.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's why I'm not doing it.
What would overindulging mean for somebody that's working on an underground like mechanical engineering project? Because the Drudo rudder, it must be built.
So you
I could
attract.
brag
So
about
you
it.
attract. So the different effects can be either it attracts trouble, for which I roll an additional entanglement for your crew. You get heat as you brag about your exploits. You become lost. The character just vanishes for a few weeks. So I can just
Yeah, I didn't overindulge, but I was just kind of wondering.
I can just take away your character from and you tap, which yeah, you can no longer indulge this vice for some amount of time based on my decision.
Neat.
None of you have trauma, right?
No.
Cool.
Nope.
So
Takes a lot
you
to get to
heal
trauma.
3 stress. How do you do that?
For me, it would mostly be going back down into Zeeb's shop and trying to extrapolate some of the stuff I learned from kind of working around in the Leviathan ship engine and getting to really check it out and trying to see how that would help with streamlining the power channeling systems.
What's the shop like?
It's more vertical than horizontal.
Are there many buildings in Duskfall?
It's very much at the water's edge, at an area where there's reasonable access to get a ship nearby to be able to smaller ships you can even kind of pull into the one part of it, but towards the back, down below in an area where only people who know would know, which is really just me and Zeeb, is where I've got the my little secret workshop where I'm working on the Drudo rudder. So it's gonna be lit by lighting and lanterns, the sort of stuff that you would expect for a warehousey sort of small warehouse sort of size thing. It's got various kind of wood planks and kind of almost not quite dock, but built up so I can get up on the water and actually test the rudder in the water instead of just kind of in the air. Obviously I understand that I can't fully turn it on and activate it because it would probably draw a lot of attention of either people or potentially ghosts. So it's something that it's still being prototyped, but it can't be activated until it's ready, basically, until it's really actually able to be done with a full test. That's really the big thing. Is it works. It channels the from Leviathan blood that's just errantly in the water. The problem is, and the reason, as I've researched, why nobody else has really been able to succeed with something like this, is because they always draw too much, and basically they become a homing beacon for Leviathans. So go ahead.
How far back do you and Zeeb go?
Probably the first time I was ever on a ship that made it to Duskfall, I was looking for the Rudderlin in town, as it were, and we came across his shop as a tip from maybe somebody at one of the taverns. In fact, might have been so young that he couldn't even access the tavern, so it would have just been the more of the restaurant-y sort of areas.
Zeeb's young?
Oh no, Zeeb's not young. I'm talking about going far back to when Czar was still in his teens, when he was first kind of committed to the ship at sea, as it were.
Right. So
they probably go back quite a ways. This is probably something they've kind of picked at and talked about over time. It isn't like I just came in and there was a secret warehouse waiting for me.
So yeah. So you come back to the to Zeeb's workshop. Zeeb is working late night on some obscure diagrams. He looks up at you and he sees it's been a long night and you are covered in soot. And he just kind of looks at you with a little bit concerned, and he just asks, "Long night?"
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I'm glad I wasn't gutted in that skirmish on the docks.
Oh, that's the noise. Are you okay? It takes a second to process what you just said, but when he does, he lights up and he wants to know if you're okay.
Yeah, it's I'm okay. Grinders, Skurlock, and Bluecoats that go to break them up. Not so sure about them, but of course, that's why I got out of it.
Okay. Well, your workstation's ready for you as always.
Fantastic.
If you're able to work, then yeah, I shouldn't ask.
Well,
it's good to have you back.
If there's any work orders to handle, I'd I'm more than happy to handle those first. You know, got the tools and the schematics all together here, so. But if not, then I'll probably just retire to my warehouse for a little and.
No, of course, of course. He kind of leaves you to keep to go to your work desk.
I'll, as I'm kind of passing, say, you know, I'm expecting that we're gonna hear something about some repairs being needed, depending on how bad that skirmish gets out there. I would say keep your eyes and ears out for repair opportunities. Maybe not so much on the not the Griselda. What was the other ship? The one that we actually boarded. Do we have a name for that one?
I
Um,
don't think we did.
I'm gonna call it the Hylia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should probably stay off the Hylia. No
Hmm.
particular reason, just a good idea for now.
One
I
rule
don't.
about the docks is that all the ships have to be in alphabetical.
All right. I'll help anyone if anything comes through. I'll let you know.
Fantastic. How have things been going on your side?
Oh, you know, I've looked at the rudder. I'm trying to sort through. Don't think I've. I don't know. I've just haven't been sleeping much. It won't leave me. The you know the schematics design. I lie. They're there when I lie down. Can't get them out.
I
Yeah. I
completely
should.
understand. Well, uh, you know, I have the same feeling quite often. Just hard to go to sleep when there's so much math going around, so many possibilities, opportunities, ways to experiment, ways to improve, ways to even ways to approach the simple repairs that we do. I've been kind of bothered by at times myself, but I find that usually a good book, something non-technical, kind of helps ease the nerves. Something that's not nautical either, if possible.
Of course. In the meantime, is there anything Terry's doing?
Well, Terry is going to have an awkward conversation with Czar at some point. Because I couldn't help notice that Czar is the only one with the physical ability.
With the what?
The physiker ability.
Oh, yeah.
And by the game rules, you have to, if you're going to heal, which I hope to do, you're going to need to find someone with physiker, either a contact or a character. And I was thinking about like what contact could work here, but and you if you don't have any, you can acquire one by getting an asset. But we have Czar here, so
Yeah, that's
Czar.
basically what I was planning to do with the other downtime was a little fix up
Oh,
there.
does it use your downtime as well?
Uh,
Okay, let me check.
that's a good question because I would expect as a physiker to
Be
be
kind of a
applying
big
my
ask, wouldn't
trade.
it? Let's see. Before you launch your project, your healer rolls. You mark a number of segments. Um, oh, healing someone else does not count as a downtime.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, because Terry wants to talk to you about Little Porky.
Hmm.
Just
Um,
it's yeah, he's looking really embarrassed, but he feels pretty shaken, and he kind of wants your he's looking for. I mean, I suppose since you're a physiker, you have some kind of medical support, but I mean, he also needs a little emotional support.
Right, understandable. Well, I mean, I only needed to take one look at little Porky to kind of understand the relative dread that it's able to exude. I guess to be powerful enough to ward off ghosts.
Well, he's
The
he's
the
normally
fact
not like that. He's normally not like that.
huh?
I swear.
How much
I
do
just
you visit with Little Porky outside the lightning wall? I'm expecting not frequently.
oh, I mean, yeah, some sometimes you just need a friendly ear, don't you?
Oh, right, of course. I hmm, such an
I mean, you
interesting.
already said that, right? About the ghosts,
Yeah,
right?
I mean the hmm.
It was nuttest. It was it was blinking crazy, wasn't it?
Though, I also wonder if Little Porky was just kind of feeding off of the feelings in that box. It didn't
Hmm.
really affect me unless I was touching it, but Little Porky there might have been a little more sensitive to it. Fortunately, you can reassure Little Porky that we are rid of it, and it is rid of us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll let him know you said
Thanks. Send him my regards too.
that. Ugh. So yeah, I think you have to tinker,
Yeah, so that would be a tinker roll.
Okay.
and let's see. Oh yeah, and it's a healing clock.
Yeah, so you fill a certain amount of segments on your healing clock.
Okay,
Whoops.
and
That didn't do so well.
That's a 3. That's still one segment.
Okay.
yeah, it's still one segment. So okay, so it's four segments, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the healing clock is actually on your sheet there.
Okay. Um. Hmm.
Wrong
Oh, you
character
can
sheet.
also spend a coin
Yeah.
to
Uh,
improve the result to a partial success, which would make that two sections.
Mm, but
e-
it's as long as it's
you put the
oh
healing
wait, sorry.
clock on the wrong character sheet.
Wait, hold on. I put that on the wrong character sheet. Yeah. Where's my stuff? Okay, there. I got to get rid of this shaken.
I mean, you spend your covering, and you'd still get. You can like choose whether or not to spend coin. Then, or if you want to take more actions, you can also spend coin to take more actions.
Yeah. Let me just look at the odds here. So you've got three, two, two segments. All right. I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna spend a coin to. No. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Gonna do, with your permission, of course. We're gonna, we're gonna. Let's just say that we talked about him, and you're gonna keep doing whatever physiological thing you do to heal
Yeah.
this kind of wound.
I would probably do a little bit more testing and assessment and try to work out a treatment plan with Stasia.
Okay. All right. So roll again.
All right. Fuck you. Roll
This
20. The
All
same
right.
roll.
Same roll. All right. Well, I'll save the money. I'm just gonna have this for a bit, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what is it when it gets healed it gets dropped to less effect or it's just cleared?
Um, I believe it draw.
Reduce each by one level, then clear the clock. Wow, it takes a while. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
All
That
right.
is rough.
Well, man, this is gonna be bad because kind of my thing. But
We had
You know
a
what?
no, it's fine. We had a really rough time. It can only go up from here
It
because
can only go up from here.
one day
So yeah,
we'll roll a
I'm
six.
gonna stick to that. You are now at 2 segments of your clock.
Yeah. And I'm gonna spend a coin to take a third action, and I'm gonna try and reduce our heat.
Okay.
So I have established that and like I'm just gonna try and just smooth it all out, just like people intoxicated and just make sure that we're all pals at the end of this. So that's going to be a
Sure.
consort.
A lot of people are drinking tonight.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a consort, which
When you come in to the
unfortunately
yeah.
it's going to be only 1d6 for me, but who knows? This might be our 1/6. Not quite, but
But
that
that
does
is a partial success, which gives you that
take
you
off
remove 2
2.
heat.
All right, done.
You go to Lake Tavern. You smooth over people. You make sure the people are all right. It was people don't like chaos. They don't like gangs out in the streets, but you help improve morale a bit, and it definitely takes suspicion off of your crew because you
Oh,
hint
you
that
know what?
maybe you people heard that you.
I definitely buy rounds for the bar several times with this coin.
Yeah. So you're buying everyone around you, everyone's pal. Terry couldn't have been responsible for this. He's everyone's
Not
pal
your old
Terry.
pal Terry.
Yeah, so you know, it's good.
All
Terry could
right.
have never done this. So yeah, reduce 3 heat. Sorry, not 3 heat,
3.
2 heat.
Okay.
Um
So we're
and
down.
you read the newspaper
Oh boy, here it
a week
comes.
later. And I was like chaos out of the docks. And you read and it says grinders taken in for questioning.
Oh dear.
And you start wondering, did they say anything about you? Well, let's find. In fact, you know for a fact that some of the ones that were there were the same ones that were at that meeting with Halker.
Hmm. Oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
This is why you never read the newspaper in fiction.
So yeah, some grinders were taken in from questioning. They they might blab about you, but you could just pay to have them released early
Hmm.
before they go into questioning.
I don't know. I already used a coin. I would.
It would be 2 coins to prevent me from rolling to see whether they pop.
I'm sorry.
And that'd be heat. The consequence would be heat. So you can either spend 2 coin or get 1 to 2 heat.
Hmm. What does Czar think?
Hmm. So that would leave us at a net total of +1 across the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm tempted to keep the coin personally.
Mm. Mm.
Heat or money.
I think for now reducing the heat might be worthwhile because
Hmm.
that whole heat thing could probably get real out of hand real quick with a few bad rolls.
Yeah, let me look at the sheet again. Because we're at 1 heat right now, and I think the threshold for heat getting worse is 4 heat.
Is it? Wait, sorry. Let me look at the. That's
I,
gonna be
I
the.
looked at the categories are like if you have 1 to 3 heat, something small happens, then 4 to 5, something larger happens. I think
Oh yeah, for the entanglement,
for the entanglements.
it's well, the more heat you have, the more like I start getting different entanglements, but more to the point is that when you fill out what you really should be worried about is where's heat? There we go. Is when it goes full, you start getting wanted levels,
Hmm.
and that's what you really should be worried about, right? Because that
Okay.
actually gives
All
me
right.
just gives me dice for the roll. Because remember,
And
right now you're not wanted, so when I roll 2 dice to take the low. As if I rolled a 0, right?
when the rest of the gang comes back together, we'll explain. Well, we got 1 coin from that, but we are only a little bit more in trouble than we were before.
It's for the good of the docks.
Go to the docks. All right, all right. Look at this sentimental guy over here. All right, I think that's the decision. Then we're going to spend the coin to get them out.
Okay, so you spend your coin. Um, so you have Hutton. He's this big, hulking guy with like a melted face, a guy like melted by the toxic rain of Scoveland. Um,
You just had to try drinking it.
mm, and you see him exit the blue coat station, right?
Yeah,
After you've greased some palms,
yeah.
and he just kind of like wanders out, looks at you,
Says
just kind of like
I
he's
give him the wink again.
he looks at you with a mix of shame and disgust, and just like, yeah, thanks. And he just kind of like walks away hurriedly.
Yo, thanks is thanks enough. Lousy grinder.
Um, and so yeah, so that's our entanglement, and we still have Zara still has a downtime action.
well, of course. I mean, I basically sat down, disheveled, covered in grease, washed my hands one time, and just started getting into it and all the various possibilities and pathways and opportunities and the as the sun came up and rising with that, or excuse me, as the lights of what people would kind of associate with the early day come on, as there isn't really a sun. Um, if there's even that sort of continuity of time in this place.
Oh yeah, no. So world building time. If you do you want to have like a world building
Yeah, yeah,
aside?
yeah.
Sure. So world building aside. By no sun, I mean there are. So during the night, the moon still exists. It shines, right? And there's stars, but there's no sun. Don't think of this like our celestial bodies. There's no sun. Instead, just at twilight and dawn, there are some like embers in the sky, like a very small light, but even then it goes away. And then people mostly monitor the hours through their 24 hours in the day, and they monitor it through artificial lights, and they name the 12 hours. So the 12 hours between dawn and dusk are the numbered hours, and there were people who do most stuff for the day. It's the first hour, the second hour, the third hour, so on and so forth. And then the hours from dusk to dawn are named hours. They all have like the candle hour,
Ooh.
the witching hour. What that's the real name, but they all have names, and those are all have some kind of people don't work at that time, but those names all have something to do with this symbolism of that hour and what it means in mysticism and culture.
Cool.
So probably as the ember come in, because there's some very faint light. It's if the sun were obscured by a large cloud that doesn't actually exist. It's kind of like the description that's coming to mind right now.
Gotcha. Well, as that time comes around, I would probably be getting up and ready to actually put some of that theory to practice on the rudder experimentation.
So would that be a long-term project?
Yes, and I want to explain kind of the series of wheels involved, because first is prototyping, which is what I'm working on right now. And then the second one is implementation, actually building it onto our ship, which I would have to do in segments. I'd have to do incremental upgrades to the ship to get all of the parts and fittings and stuff ready, so that in, the matter of one night, I could pull the ship in, throw it in, and be able to at least have it installed but not activated. And then the third wheel would be on the ship with it installed, actually getting all the stuff hooked up and activating it. So,
Okay.
like 3 8-wedge wheels, I would imagine.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
So let's say the prototyping. Let's call it first prototyping.
Mm-hmm.
Is the first one?
Yeah.
Or planning? What's
It'd
the first?
be. It's been well planned. Now it's like the actual prototyping. It's making sure there's a functional proof of concept that will be able to be turned on in the safety of the warehouse for a moment.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an extra clock. Which is going to be called planning the and roll.
All right, 6. It's now or never.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would accept a critical too, because I've got 2 dice to roll on this.
We can tell the gang about the amazing.
Yes!
There we go. There it is.
That's still pretty good. I'll take that.
That's a
There
success.
you go.
3 segments.
So that's what we tell the rest of the crew. We tell them about the amazing rudder.
Well,
So that's 1 6 among 2.
yeah.
I'm gonna count how many dice later. But also note I
It's a
didn't
lot.
get a 6 on my engagement roll. So this is literally the only 6 rolled the entire night.
Oh my god.
And that's why our good buddy Omba hates the D6. He is personally cursed by it. We are being hosted on one of his channels right now, so I believe we are, in effect, adjusted by that curse.
How many segments is that? That would be 2 segments.
30. There are
3
30
segments for a
people
6.
that I can see anyway.
Right, no, you're right. So that's 3 segments because that is a full success, not a partial, but success period. So yeah, you have made some tangible progress on your prototype.
Fantastic. And just as a bit of backstory, a lot of this is probably the materials that I got when I first joined the crew on that first mission. Again, the one in the backstory we haven't really talked about much. And actually applying those materials that I got at the black market. So I kind of knew what I needed a bit.
Where do you get your?
So going into the backstory, I was commissioned to get on the ship and do some repairs. The it was basically they needed to get the hell out to handle a job. The lantern that was on board was kind of having some sputtering issues when spirits on board were present near it. So I had been brought on kind of to make sure things were running, and I told them, you know, what the cost and everything would be for just a quick patch job and what it would be for like a full day's repair to really get it up and running properly. And right as I told them how long the patch job was, they're like, all right, good enough. And they just took off sailing. This was a stipulation that it was a patch job without the ship running, not with it running. So I was basically spending the entire trip while they were going to a black market location, a specific one for a specific job, to just keep the damn thing running so we wouldn't lose power and have ghosts infiltrate everybody. Not knowing to the extent by which everybody would be able to resist that or not. And while there, not only did I complete the repairs before we sailed back out because I was rather pissed, but actually met a black market salesperson who gave me the contact for Stasia, the alchemist. So normally when I need materials, I just go to Stasia and I make a few more alchemic tools or materials or repair something that he needs, like, you know, more like think microscopes and pipetters and stuff like that.
What's your relationship with Stasia like?
We're kind of like working business partner pals. Like, he has a lot of stuff he's experimenting on and realizes it's going to take a lot of time and effort to find someone who can fabricate this stuff, or he can just go to me because I can do it. Very, very nuanced, specific sort of parts. But since I've been kind of involved with a little bit of what he's been working on, I kind of have an understanding of like the sort of tools and materials that he needs to continue his alchemic expansion and being able to hopefully one day match up with the best of the best, the entire like full-sized companies in a, you know, much more compact and efficient sort of setting.
All right.
So the other stipulation, of course, is that Stasia does a little bit of black market wheeling and dealing, and that also helps keep things afloat and keeps the coinage up for these projects in general. So whenever I need a specific supply, I just arrange that. I'll, you know, continue working on the stuff that he needs worked on. In exchange, I can get whatever sort of materials I need. So that's kind of where things have been at.
All right. So that kind of exchange works. Sorry. It is a very transactional kind of straightforward interaction between you two. You get the things, you get your materials, you go home, and you can spend the rest of the night tinkering and working, and you're on fire tonight. It's and you feel like, you know, between sparks and just smells and everything, you might actually be significantly closer to getting this thing working, at least in the prototype stage.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
Meanwhile, Duskfall continues. It has definitely... You're not sure yet. You go to... You tell Helker, when you get paid for the job, you tell Helker that the box has been delivered, and he just kind of smiles, and he says, "I know things look rough now, but this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good for all of us."
You'll roll a 6 one day.
And things are rough right now. Like, people, like a bunch of the grinders really went to town. A bunch of shops got vandalized, but people are helping each other. People are trying to, recover from this unexplained, just violent attack that happened. People are wondering why are the Rhinos doing this? Why are they escalating their violence? Some people just blame the fact that it's just disgruntled Skovlanders. Others say that they had something more sinister in mind. And you're not regarding the box. You're not sure what happened to it yet. It's there. The Leviathan, the Hylia, it was not damaged, and it's prepared to go out to sea. Again, for another Leviathan hunting expedition. And you wonder what's going to happen to it.
Yeah. I'm
And
expecting it's going to attract all sorts of ghosties.
and on that note, I think I'm gonna close.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Good stuff. Thanks for hosting.
So
By the way, for the record, final counts: 30 d6 rolls. The odds of none of them being a 6 are 0.5%. The odds of only one of them being a 6 are exactly the same.
wow, okay. Well, thank you for coming. I'm going to send both of you feedback forms. I'm just gonna post on the chat a feedback form.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And
Then how did we want to tally up the experience? I think I had
oh, right, sorry.
a bit of a count going.
Oh, yeah.
I had during the mission 2 uses of technical skill, 1 expression of background, arguably more, but I think 1's probably about appropriate. And then there were almost everything was a roll in a desperate situation or worse, wasn't it?
No, the desperate one was I'm gonna say the desperate ones were
This is the last one.
the attune and the last one.
Okay, so the attune. That
Was the attune mine?
yeah, that was yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna give you experience for that.
All right. It
Um,
was an experience.
And then
Sorry.
the last one was the getting out of there roll.
Yeah. The crazy story we were spinning to
Yeah.
the
So
with the
that
pipes.
would be, since I got a success on that, that's 1 for me. And
yeah,
that
I'm
would
gonna.
be sway.
It's in resolve, like as a
Resolve.
category.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that Alex, you get 1 experience for your attune. Reese, you get 1 experience for your for the
The
So also
sway.
those should both go in their respective attributes.
Okie dokie. All right. And then
Fury.
things that happen during downtime, are those also assessed for experience or no?
I think that's
No,
just
because none of those can be desperate, but you still there's still other experience triggers. I just want to see if I can find somewhere that
It's
lists
on the character sheet.
them all.
Yeah,
or at
under
least
the-
it has
Oh, okay. So
the
yeah,
ones
if
Playbook.
so,
specific to each character on their kit sheet thing.
which ones? So Reese, which ones are you marking for Czar?
So I did 1 on a desperate action that that's mark XP in that action's attribute, right? So that's not in the general XP pool.
I don't think there is a general XP pool.
No, there
there's
is.
a
There's
playbook
your
advancement.
playbook advancement.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
You can right. The way it works is you can put XP when you put it anywhere. You don't put it in the playbook. You can, but you don't have to. Playbook advancement is advancing towards getting an advance in your playbook, and if you want to improve your action ratings, then you need to get the experience in the attribute.
gotcha.
See, okay, sorry, that's page 48.
It's for Leech, you address a challenge with technical skill or mayhem, which I would say there were two expressions of technical skill. One with the turning the lights out, and then one with planting the box.
Do you think it happened a lot during the session?
The technical skill.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a lot of what.
You did the whole you did the ruse with the boat at the very beginning.
Yeah, yeah, that was one of them.
Then mark 2. It's 1 if it happened, 2 if it happened a lot, and that's also to you.
Okay.
Like you get to decide if you think it happened a little or a lot.
And then the other one was the you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background, which I definitely did kind of play into backstory with that stuff, and the relying on having, being an engineer at sea, repair person, and really playing hard into that.
Yeah. So how much XP is that total?
That would be 3 if we get 2 for the technical and 1 for the beliefs, drive, heritage, background.
Cool. So yeah, put those in any tracks you would like.
Okay.
Doesn't it go into playbook advancement?
Yeah, I thought those went into playbook. I think it was only
Yeah, so you mark end of session XP on any XP tracks you want, any attribute or your playbook XP track.
Oh, okay.
okay.
That sounds good.
So if you fill your playbook XP track, you get a playbook advance, and if you fill one of the attribute XP tracks, you get a dot in one of those actions.
Okay.
You know what? I think I'm actually gonna spend all of these in resolve, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm feeling the same thing.
So yeah, for you Alex, you have.
I was just basically deceiving people from start to finish, I would argue here.
Yeah. And then, do you feel that you've expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or?
He did a lot of work, did a surprising amount of work at the pub, and he was insufferably friendly to everyone. So I don't I don't have a whole lot of like background. I think like that as far as he's written, I would say that's playing into the character.
Okay, then give yourself either 1 or 2 experience for that. And do you feel you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas? Honestly, just
not
for
the
how
vice
you
or
roleplay
trauma
the.
per se. Flinch did come out, but he didn't. I don't think I struggled with him. I feel like that's to come. I did have that whole horrific episode with the Spirit Bane charm, but I'm not sure that counts.
It's your decision.
Hmm.
I would count it.
All right.
I
I'm
know
gonna.
you also like later reference it in times.
Okay. I'm gonna say that adds up into one kind of struggle on poor Terry's part.
Yeah, so that would be a 1. I would think it would make sense. 1 experience.
Oh, I should have done a training then. I would have been full up on resolve.
There's always more time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll be next week and the week after, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I could have been ready.
And does the crew get any XP? Their crew advancement.
That's a good question. As a crew, what advances
Did
us?
you execute a smuggling operation? Yes, so that's 1 XP.
Okay.
All right.
Did you contend with challenges above your current station? Yes, that's 1 XP. Did you bolster your crew's reputation?
Or develop a new one. Develop a new one. Well, we didn't have rep with the grinders before. I guess we still don't have rep with them yet.
Did we do anything to promote it?
Did you do anything daring?
Yeah.
Because remember,
we went outside the lightning wall. We smuggled a box in during a raid. That's pretty daring.
I feel like if we had gone with plan, uh, uh, escape the police instead of let them come say hi, that would have been pretty daring.
Right. And I'm thinking about a later project for Drudo after the Redders finish is probably going to be a some sort of crow repellent.
I honestly feel like we tried to be pretty meek this time. We tried to be pretty inconspicuous and hidden, and that didn't work. But I don't know.
To be fair, you are short half your crew, which
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
see,
daring
I'm
that it was
being
only
meek right now.
I was still carrying weapons. I was ready to fight if we needed to.
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah. Either way, do you think you deserve the XP?
If we can, if we can
Well, not
somehow
deserve,
make
but
this
do you think
part
it
of our-
happened? Actually, better yet, examine the fiction.
Yeah.
Do you think that was expressed in the fiction? Is the better yes or no question.
Honestly, I think anyone willing to accept anybody, a resident of Duskfall, who's willing to accept a mission to go outside the lightning barrier to a very specific location, hoping that you're not going to be just sacrificed and eaten for going there.
And there's a shark there too. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
you know what I would say? You know what I would say? The fact that we showed up, just the two of us, to the meeting in the first place and simply didn't bother telling the others, that's pretty reckless, some might say. Daring, others might say.
Okay, then, and did you? Let's just mark these be. Do you feel that the crew expressed its goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature?
Ooh. Huh.
Did anything happen to highlight the specific elements that make the crew unique?
Hmm. What is our ideology here?
It's a good
If
question.
you if you don't have an immediate answer, I would say that's a good marker that maybe you didn't like. I don't know.
It's one of those ones where I feel like, well, we accepted this daring ass mission as a smuggler. Is like we're trying to would be trying to rely too much on one specific event to get all of our points. I would say, while yes, we might have expressed the goals, it was probably more along the lines of this is business as usual rather than something exceptional.
Yeah, so that would be 3 XP.
I feel like we're gonna have a better handle on what this would mean when we talk with the rest of the crew and um, we kind of flesh out more details about what our uh, what our really like motivation is in these jobs.
For sure.
All right. So I think we're done now.
Yeah, I think that's
now we mark.
everything.
So yeah, we finished, wrapped up the score, marked experience.
All right.
So yeah, thank you very much for coming, and I will see
pleasure.
you again next week.
Yeah, thanks for hosting. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for watching.